Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Rising Sign Astrology. So today's a little bit of a different video. A bunch of you have reached out either in email or comments or on my social media channels like Instagram or TikTok asking why I don't have a 2025 yearly horoscope video up for every rising sign. And the truth is that this channel didn't even exist when the year started. So that's something, but I've gotten enough messages about it that I decided to carve out a quick, to the point look at the second half of 2025 by rising sign. This is not a deep dive. This is a high level overview to give you a sense of the major themes that are ahead. If you want more detail, definitely check out the other transit videos that I've already posted and will continue to post throughout the year. They really do go into deeper specific shifts. But if you're looking for one video with sort of just the high notes, then this will suffice. And of course, if there's ever a specific video or a topic that you want to see, please drop it in the comments. I'm always open to ideas, and obviously this came about as a result of one of those. So yeah. Now, as always, when you listen to the breakdowns, I do recommend starting and listening with your rising sign because that is the main character in your story. It's how you manifest in the real world. It shows how the transits hit your actual lived experiences. But after that, check your sun sign. It does speak to your soul direction, identity, and often is very closely linked to your career path as well. So if you want to listen for just your career, listen to your sun sign. And then lastly, you can listen for your moon sign because that's going to tell you about how you emotionally experience the changes that are going on in the physical world and how you're sort of looking at them through this moon sign lens. And it's also helpful for areas like home, family, and just your general inner life. And as always, if you're enjoying the content, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. And if you do find these videos and insights helpful, a quick like or a comment really, really goes a long way. I appreciate it because it tells the algorithm that these videos that I'm making are worth sharing with other astrology lovers. And it's how I grow the channel and get to make more content. So with that said, let's get into the second half of 2025 for each and every zodiac sign. Okay, let's start with Aries rising. So for you, the second half of 2025 is about transition between the past that's still being cleared out and the future that's just starting to take shape. Saturn and Neptune have dipped into your first house in late spring. And this gave you a first glimpse at what it means to carry more responsibility and show up as your full self and really align your outer life with your inner values. But they'll retrograde back into your 12th house of Pisces by the end of the year, asking you to finish a deeper internal cycle out. And this is about clearing unconscious patterns, letting go of what no longer fits your path, and strengthening your inner foundation before Saturn moves into Aries for good in 2026. Now, meanwhile, Jupiter has moved into your 4th house of Cancer, and this happened in June. And it offers, real emotional nourishment and support where you need it the most, right? Your home, your family, and your sense of security in this world. And this will be a stabilizing influence that can bring growth through real estate, a relocation of home, or simply building a more loving and safe personal environment. You may find yourself drawn to reconnect with family at this time, create a sanctuary of your own within the home, or invest in your roots or ancestry in some way. It's a good time to expand your definition of what home means and to cultivate the kind of life that feels like one. Now, there are also big mental and communication shifts on the horizon, and that's thanks to Uranus entering Gemini and your 3rd house happening in July. And over the next 7 years, how you speak, learn, and engage with the world around you is going to radically evolve. You might dive into new technologies, teaching, writing, or even reinvent your approach to thinking altogether or communicating in a whole different way, right? Think podcasting, YouTube channels, right? Or just reinventing how you speak and communicate with the world. And this can also bring breakthroughs in how you express your ideas. But it can also bring sudden changes in your relationships with your local community as well as siblings. And finally, the eclipse cycle has now fully shifted out of Aries and Libra and into Pisces and Virgo, putting the spotlight on your 6th and 12th houses. September's eclipses are going to shake up your daily work life, your health routines, and your relationship with rest and spiritual practices. You're being called to find a healthier balance between productivity and peace, between what you do every day and what your soul needs behind the scenes. It's a great time to let go of toxic habits or self-sabotaging behavior or just outdated routines. And ultimately, this is to make space for deeper healing that is going to carry you into the next chapter. Okay, Taurus rising. So for you, the second half of 2025 is about mental growth, internal shifts, and financial reinvention. Saturn and Neptune dipped into your 12th house in late spring, hinting at a new chapter of inner work and solitude and spiritual maturity that will fully unfold starting in 2026. But before that happens, both planets are going to retrograde back into your Pisces 11th house by the end of the year, asking you to wrap up unfinished business around friendships, communities, and long-term goals. You're clearing out illusions around who you belong with and what future you're really working towards. Now, in June, Jupiter enters your 3rd house of communication, learning, and local connections. This is a great time to study something new, to teach, to write, or even just share your voice in a bigger way. Sibling relationships may improve. Short trips could expand your perspective, and you might find yourself more curious and mentally active than usual. So if you felt stuck in your thinking or daily routines, Jupiter helps open the door to fresh ideas and inspiring conversations. Then in July, Uranus officially moves out of your sign and into Gemini, landing in your 2nd house of money and self-worth. This kicks off a 7-year period of change in how you earn, spend, and value what you have. So financial breakthroughs or shake-ups can happen here, especially if you've outgrown old ways of making money. It's time to embrace more flexibility in your approach to resources and let go of attachments to outdated definitions of security. And the eclipse cycle has now fully shifted to Pisces and Virgo, activating your 11th and 5th houses through 2027. And September's eclipses may stir up big changes in your friendships, your creative life, and even parenting if that applies to you. You're being asked to align your personal joy with your future vision and to release any social connections or goals that no longer inspire you. Balancing fun and responsibility is going to be key, not only in September with the eclipses, but as you move forward through 2027. Okay, Gemini rising. So for you, the second half of 2025 brings a mix of personal reinvention, financial growth, and clarity around your career and home life. Saturn and Neptune gave you a preview of what's ahead as they've dipped into your 11th house in late spring. And it's urging you to take a more serious look at your long-term goals and friendships. But by the end of the year, both planets will retrograde back into your Pisces 10th house, signaling a final round of career cleanup, public image realignment, and a dissolving of outdated ambitions before the major shift in 2026 takes a real hold. Meanwhile, Jupiter moves into your 2nd house of income, assets, and self-worth. And this is in June, where it's going to stay for an entire year. There's, a real opportunity here because it's a promising time to grow your finances as well as attract new opportunities for income or boost your confidence through skills and talents that are finally being recognized. You are likely to find more stability or abundance at this time, but only if you're aligned with what truly matters to you. Then comes the big one, right? Uranus enters your sign in July, launching a 7-year cycle of deep personal change. So expect the unexpected when it comes to your identity, your appearance, and the way you move through the world. This transit pushes you to embrace your individuality and let go of who you thought you had to be in life. You'll feel called to break free from limitations and just express yourself in very bold, new, unconventional ways. And lastly, the eclipse cycle has fully shifted into Pisces and Virgo from Aries and Libra. And this is going to activate your 10th and 4th houses. The September eclipses may bring turning points in your career path and home life. One area may need to be released or restructured to support growth in the other. You're ultimately learning how to balance outer success with inner home stability and recognizing that both are essential as you evolve. So, Cancer rising. For you, the second half of 2025 is about stepping into your potential while clearing out outdated beliefs and patterns. Saturn and Neptune briefly moved into your 10th house of career and public image in late spring, giving you a glimpse of responsibility and the structure that may soon define your professional path. But by the end of the year, both planets will retrograde back into your Pisces 9th house, signaling it's time to finish a chapter around education, travel, or your belief systems. There's still something to learn or release before you're fully ready to level up publicly in 2026. Now, in June, Jupiter enters your first house, marking the start of a powerful new growth cycle. This is one of the most supportive transits for personal development, confidence, and physical vitality. You may feel more optimistic, energized, and ready to take up space in the world. Opportunities often come more easily with Jupiter here, but you also have to say yes to them. So don't shy away from visibility or opportunities for expansion. Meanwhile, Uranus begins a 7-year journey through the 12th house in July, bringing changes to your inner world, to subconscious patterns, and your spiritual life. This is a behind-the-scenes transformation that can lead to sudden insights, intuitive breakthroughs, spiritual awakenings, or just a desire for more solitude. You may also feel called to break free from self-sabotaging behaviors or addictions or hidden fears that have just held you back. So embrace the unexpected and trust your intuition as a guide here. Lastly, eclipses now fully shift into Pisces and Virgo, activating your 9th and 3rd houses of thought, communication, and perspective. September's eclipses may bring sudden shifts in how you view the world or how you express yourself within it. You could change your approach to learning or let go of rigid belief systems or perhaps take a leap in a writing or teaching or travel opportunity. The key is staying flexible and open-minded as your inner self realigns with your outer. Okay, Leo rising. So the second half of 2025 for you is about redefining your relationship with faith, trust, and your long-term goals. Saturn and Neptune dipped into your 9th house of beliefs, higher education, and travel in late spring, offering you a preview of how your worldview is maturing. But by year's end, they retrograde back into your Pisces 8th house, asking you to complete deep emotional or financial work, such as clearing debt, healing intimacy wounds, or dissolving power struggles. And this is going to be the last chance before this chapter closes for good in 2026. Now, in June, Jupiter moves into your 12th house, kicking off a year of quiet growth and behind-the-scenes blessings. This is a time for rest, reflection, and reconnecting with your spiritual or creative life. It's not about big public wins right now. It's about preparing your inner world for this major new cycle that begins when Jupiter enters your sign in 2026. So trust that the expansion happening now may not be visible yet, but it is essential for your long-term growth. Now, Uranus enters your 11th house in July, marking a 7-year shakeup of your friendships, your social networks, and your future goals. So expect sudden shifts in who you align with and what you're working towards. This can be a time of forming unconventional alliances or stepping into more innovative roles within your community. Be open to meeting new people and exploring different paths because you may outgrow old circles faster than you expect. Now, to wrap the year, the eclipse cycle has now moved into Pisces and Virgo, leaving Aries and Libra. So this is activating your 8th and 2nd houses. September's eclipses may bring major turning points in how you share resources and also manage your own. You're being asked to let go of what's draining you, financially, emotionally, and psychologically. And you're being asked to build something more stable in its place. So, money, self-worth, and even energetic boundaries are all up for reevaluation as you move into a more empowered chapter at the end of the year and into 2026. Okay, so for Virgo rising, the second half of 2025 is a very pivotal period for relationships, identity, and your career direction. Saturn and Neptune dipped into your 8th house of shared resources, intimacy, and emotional depth in late spring, giving you a glimpse of the boundaries and emotional clarity you'll need in the years ahead. But by the end of the year, both will retrograde back into your Pisces 7th house, signaling one final phase of relationship cleanup, whether in love or business or just close partnerships. And this is going to be the last chapter wrapping up before, it's over for good in 2026. So it's important. Now, in June, Jupiter moves into your 11th house of friendships, networks, and long-term goals. This is a great year for making very powerful connections, finding support through your communities, and expanding your vision for the future. You could join new groups at this time, attract new helpful allies, and just start to feel more hopeful about where things are headed. This is a time to dream big, but also to share those dreams with others who want to see you do well and win. Then in July, Uranus enters your 10th house of career and public life, kicking off a new 7-year period of reinvention in this area. Expect twists and turns in your professional path, whether it's a change in title, a shift in direction, or just the urge to break free from outdated roles. This transit asks you to innovate and take risks, even if it means walking away from what once felt secure. If you felt boxed in, this is now your permission to rewrite the rules. Lastly, the eclipse cycle is now fully focused on you, right? With Pisces and Virgo eclipses running through 2027. September is going to bring a powerful pair of eclipses. One in your 7th house of relationships and one in your 1st house of self. So this marks a major shift in how you see yourself and how others relate to you. This tells me a new version of you is emerging, and it may require letting go of old dynamics or patterns that no longer reflect who it is you're becoming. Libra rising. So for you, the second half of 2025 marks a transition from cleanup mode to stepping into greater visibility and purpose. Saturn and Neptune dipped into your 7th house of partnerships in late spring, offering a real glimpse of the long-term commitments, boundaries, or dissolutions that may unfold in relationships over the coming years. But before that fully locks in, both planets will retrograde back into your Pisces 6th house by the end of the year, signaling one last chapter regarding work, health, and routine refinement before they leave this part of your life for good in 2026. Now, June brings a boost as Jupiter enters your 10th house of career and public reputation. This is a growth period professionally, one where recognition, promotions, or new leadership roles could be on the table. You're more visible and your efforts are more likely to be rewarded now. Just be mindful not to overextend yourself. With Jupiter here for a full year, you've got time to build strategically and expand into a more fulfilling direction. Now, in July, Uranus shifts into your ninth house, kicking off a 7-year cycle of change around your belief systems, education, worldview, and religion. You might feel pulled towards new philosophies, unexpected travel opportunities, or even sudden shifts in your faith or political views. It's a time to challenge what you thought you knew and be open to unconventional learning or new global experiences, especially if they're cross-cultural. And for some, this could bring surprises around publishing or teaching. And finally, the eclipse cycle is shifted to Pisces and Virgo, activating your 6th and 12th houses. The September eclipses highlight the need to better balance daily responsibilities with rest as well as spiritual integration. You may realize your current lifestyle just isn't sustainable, or that old patterns behind the scenes are draining your energy. It's time to rework your habits and heal what's hidden so you can show up with more clarity and purpose in the outer world. So, Scorpio risings. For you, the second half of 2025 is going to bring about a shift in focus towards purpose, transformation, and clearing either creative or emotional blocks. Saturn and Neptune briefly moved into your 6th house of work, health, and daily routines, and this happened in late spring, giving you a taste of the structure and discipline that will be required in these areas over the coming years. But by the end of the year, they'll retrograde back into your Pisces 5th house, where you'll wrap up unfinished business related to creative projects, children, romance, or just your sense of joy in general. It's one final chapter in learning how to trust your heart and express yourself without fear. In June, Jupiter moves into your 9th house of expansion, travel, and higher learning. This is a powerful year to broaden your horizons, whether through education, spiritual exploration, or international cross-cultural experiences. If you've been craving a sense of meaning or direction, this transit can help you reconnect to your belief systems and long-term goals. Publishing, teaching, or working with people from different cultures may also bring great growth and fulfillment at this time. Now, in July, Uranus enters your 8th house of shared resources, intimacy, and transformation, launching a 7-year cycle of deep internal change. You may experience unexpected shifts in financial partnerships or inheritances or emotional bonds. This transit pushes you to evolve past fear-based attachments and approach vulnerability, trust, and money from a more liberated mindset. Breakthroughs are possible, but they often come after disruption, so stay flexible. Now, the new eclipse cycle in Pisces and Virgo is in full swing, activating your 5th and 11th houses. And these September eclipses may shake up your social groups, your creative direction, or role within a group or the collective. You are being asked to let go of outdated friendships or outdated goals that no longer align with your heart and who it is you are now. At the same time, you're being pulled towards a more authentic self-expression and being asked to have the courage to create, right? And find a community that reflects who you really are. Sagittarius rising. So for my Sag risings, the second half of 2025 brings really powerful shifts around home life, your closest relationships, creativity, children, and romance. Saturn and Neptune dipped into your 5th house in late spring, offering a glimpse of what it looks like to take your passions, your children, or romantic life more seriously. But before fully committing to this next phase, both planets are going to retrograde back into your Pisces 4th house by the end of the year. And this is asking you to finish up unresolved matters around family, emotional security, or your living situation before they leave this area for good in 2026. In June, Jupiter enters your 8th house of shared resources, intimacy, and personal transformation. This transit can bring financial support through others, such as loans, investments, inheritances, or even just a partner's income going up. But it also encourages you to deepen emotional bonds and face vulnerability with more confidence. It's a powerful year to be able to look at, tend to, and heal old wounds. You're being asked to release what no longer serves you and make room for more trust and emotional depth in your closest relationships. Then in July, Uranus enters your 7th house of partnerships, launching a new 7-year cycle of change in how you connect with others. So expect the unexpected in your one-on-one relationships. This could bring unconventional partners, or sudden breakups, or totally new dynamics in existing bonds. You're being asked to embrace freedom, authenticity, and a more flexible approach to how you commit. The old rules don't apply anymore, and that's a good thing. Lastly, the Aries Libra eclipse cycle is over, and now you're fully entering the Pisces Virgo phase, activating your 4th and 10th houses. And these September eclipses may bring major turning points around your home and career. One area may need to shift to create balance in the other. You're being called to reassess what stability looks like to you, both privately and publicly, so you can build a life that supports not only your long-term growth on every level, but also your home life. Okay, my Capricorn rising. So for you, the second half of 2025 brings a shift towards redefining your home, your partnerships, and your belief systems. Saturn and Neptune briefly moved into your 4th house in late spring, giving you a taste of what's ahead in terms of emotional grounding, family responsibility, and building a more stable foundation. But before they settle in long term, both planets are going to retrograde back into your Pisces 3rd house by the end of the year. And this is asking you to wrap up any lingering issues related to communication, learning, or even sibling dynamics. It's a phase of clearing the mental fog and closing out unhelpful thought patterns. Now, in June, there's expansion in your one-on-one relationships as Jupiter enters your 7th house of partnerships. So this could be a year of significant relationship growth, whether through a new commitment, healing, or even an existing one, right? Or attracting people who just help you grow. If you felt isolated or disconnected, then this transit can bring collaboration and warmth and potentially beneficial legal or business alliances as well. Now, in July, Uranus begins a 7-year journey through your 6th house, shaking up your daily routines, your work life, and approach to health. So expect changes in how you structure your day. Expect unexpected job shifts or a new interest in alternative wellness practices that relate to health. It's a call to break free from rigid structures and outdated systems, and to experiment with what truly supports your body and your productivity. Now, at the end of the year, the eclipse cycle fully shifts to Pisces and Virgo, activating your 3rd and 9th houses. September's eclipses could bring changes in how you think, speak, and learn, as well as challenge old beliefs or long-term goals that you've had. You may start or end a major educational path at this time, or just change your mindset in general and decide to redefine your voice. The goal is to align your everyday thinking with a bigger vision that actually inspires you, and to let go of anything that's kept you playing small up until now. Okay, my Aquarius rising. So for you, the second half of 2025 is about upgrading how you think, how you earn, and how you express yourself creatively. So Saturn and Neptune dipped into your 3rd house in late spring, offering a glimpse of the discipline and clarity coming to your communication, mindset, and learning habits. But before that fully sets in, both planets will retrograde back into your Pisces second house by the end of the year, signaling one last round of work on your income, money matters, values, and self worth. You're closing out this pretty long chapter of financial uncertainty or blurred boundaries around what truly matters to you. Now, in June, Jupiter enters your sixth house of work, routines, and health, bringing growth and opportunity to those areas of your daily life. This could mean a new job, a more positive work environment, or just a renewed commitment to your physical well-being. If you felt overwhelmed by your daily responsibilities, Jupiter is going to help you to bring more structure and optimism as well as meaning to your everyday life. Then in July, Uranus kicks off a 7-year transit through your fifth house, sparking major shifts in romance, creativity, self-expression, and relationships with your children. This energy is unpredictable, but also liberating. You might discover new talents or explore new unconventional relationships, or just feel like you're called to create something entirely outside your normal, usual comfort zone. This is about rediscovering your joy and doing it your way, not one that adheres to somebody else's view of what's normal. To finish the year, the eclipse cycle now moves into Pisces and Virgo, highlighting your second and eighth houses. So the September eclipses are likely to stir up changes in your financial picture, especially around what you earn versus what you share. It's time to rethink how you manage money, how you handle power dynamics, as well as emotional investments. September is calling you to let go of scarcity thinking and make room for smarter, more aligned choices that build real security. And these eclipse cycles in Pisces and Virgo are going to continue to play out until 2027. So you have some time there. Okay, Pisces rising. So for you, the second half of 2025 is a real turning point between who you've been and who it is you're becoming. Saturn and Neptune dipped into your second house in late spring, giving you an early look at what's ahead regarding finances, stability, and self-worth. But before that story fully takes hold, both planets are going to retrograde back into your first house by the end of the year, asking you to finish up this deep identity work that's been ongoing for the last few years. Now, you're in the final stretch of shedding old versions of yourself. This is about closure, not reinvention just yet. That's coming. Now, in June, Jupiter moves into your fifth house of creativity, romance, and joy, bringing a much needed lightness to this area. This is a year to play, create, have fun with your kids, and just follow whatever it is that lights you up. Whether it's a new love, a passion project, or, like I said, spending time with your children, this transit supports more fun and fulfillment. After a long internal stretch, this is a great moment of permission to enjoy yourself again and just lean into what makes you happy. Then, in July, Uranus enters your fourth house, beginning a 7-year cycle of changes around home, family, and emotional foundations. You could move suddenly, or experience shifts in your family dynamics, or feel a strong urge to redefine what home actually means to you. While this may be destabilizing at times, it's ultimately helping you to build a freer, more authentic base for your life, one that truly reflects your needs. Now, to round out the year, the eclipses are moving into Pisces and Virgo, leaving the Aries Libra axis. And the Pisces Virgo axis will now be active through 2027. So September brings major turning points in your personal identity, first house, and relationships, seventh house. You're being pushed to release people-pleasing or over-identification with others and step more fully into who it is you really are. This is the beginning of a brand new story for you, one where your presence and who you are is about you taking center stage, not just a support role. Okay, well, that's your high level, very, very quick preview of the rest of 2025 by your sign. If anything resonated, or if you want more detail on a specific area, please check out my other transit videos. I've got deeper breakdowns on some of these big shifts that we're moving through. And if you want even more detail about how the rest of 2025 and through to 2026 and beyond are going to affect you even more personally in terms of your own personal birth chart and your own natal placements, then please feel free to, take a look below and, see all the details for booking a private reading. And as always, if you have a request or an idea for a future video, drop it in the comments, right? I'm always listening and responding to the comments, and I really love hearing what you want more of. This video is case in point. I was not planning on doing this, and it was very abbreviated and not nearly as deep as I normally go, but, enough people asked for it, so I wanted to give it to you. As always, thank you for watching and listening, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss another video. I will see you in the next one. Thanks again.